Alright, what's going on? It's me, Oliver, again. We're back for maybe the most important lesson of all of programming. How to Google. But before we get into that, let's go! Alright. Oh, jeez. um, so, when you're programming, let's say I just open REPL.it. When you're programming, you might forget how to do something in a certain language. We've been going over Java this far, so I'm just gonna keep on using Java. But you know, sometimes you'll code in a different program, maybe programming language. Maybe you'll use C#, C++, or whatever. But let's just say you forget how to get user input from the console. You know, I don't remember. Java is like, it's a little bit different from other programming languages. It's a little bit different from, C or C++ or whatever else. So let's say I don't remember how to, accept user input. So, Google, you guys know, like, Googling, but if you're using it for programming, a few things you want to keep in mind, I guess. One, you want to have the programming language in there. If you just look up accept user input, it's not going to know what you mean. It might not even know that you're talking about a programming language. It might not know whether you're trying to do Python or C or whatever. So, important, put the name of the programming language in there. And then put whatever you're trying to do. Here, I'm trying to figure out how to accept user input. You can see, how do I do this? Usually the first few links, especially on these popular topics like accepting user input, are going to be pretty good. W3 Schools, it's a good resource. Stack Overflow can be here and there, but it's usually good. Java Point, those are usually good. So, but let's just stick with W3 Schools for now. So you can see, so to accept user input, we have to use the scanner class, and it's found in the java.util package. So you can see, this is you can read this, but like sometimes I'll just skip straight to the code down here because I kind of remember how to do it, but I don't remember like the exact syntax or whatever else. And so what we're gonna want to do is import java.util.scanner, import the scanner class, right? Comment's very helpful. Here, Java user input scanner, so you can see, so this whole thing's about the scanner class, right? And see input types. So you can see next boolean, next byte, next, and then a description. So it's just telling you how to get different values from the user, boolean, byte, double float, whatever you want them to input. And what we're going to want to do is, sometimes you can just copy paste, but to actually cement like what's going on, usually what I like to do is actually just type out the code for myself. Helps me ingrain it a lot more than just copy paste, because in Control-C, Control-V, anything. But if I actually type it out, I always try to understand what's happening. So first line, import java.util.scanner. So it's importing the scanner class from the java.util library. Alright, get that. And what I'm going to want to do next, I'm going to want to create a new scanner object. So how I'm going to do that, I'm going to give it the name, or the class, scanner. I'm going to call this scanner in equals, and usually I try to switch up the variable names as well, also helps me ingrain it. And then we're going to want to use the new keyword, scanner, and then You know how, like up here, we have system.out.println? We're going to use system.in. And this is if this is how we output to the console, well then to get input from the console, we're going to use system.in. And that's it. So that's how we create a new scanner object. And then let's say, for now, let's just say we want to take in an input and print it right back out. So you can see to get input, we use the scanner class and then dot whatever we're trying to get. Is here if we want a string, we just want like any type of data to get in and then print it back out. We're just going to want to use next line. So we can say string input equals scanner in dot next line, right? And then what we said, we just want to print it back out, so we do system.out.println input. And if we run this, Preplit would work a little bit faster. But I guess while that's compiling, we can look about the other Google results. So let's see, Stack Overflow. If you ever got, this is like a Quora, but basically for programming. Stack Overflow, very popular among programming humor. You can see similar format, just a little bit less like formal and like telling you all the different methods. For example, this one just says next int. You know, it doesn't tell you about next line, whatever. So, but this also gives you a good idea of like what actually to do. Scanner, java.util.scanner, create a new scanner, ask for input, get the input, and then close the scanner. It's good practice to close the scanner. I didn't over there. And this one actually doesn't mention it, but for a small program like this, it's not too important. Java point. It also gives you a long list of all the different methods that I can use. And you see if we open up our thing, let's just say we type in pool, and we get pool back. Perfect. Our program works tremendously. But let's say we want to look up something more complex, slightly more complex. Let's say we wanted to look up how to, let's say we have an array of integers. Int array numbers equals 9, 10, 20, 50. Let's say we wanted to figure out how to go through this list backwards. Or you could think, well, maybe if you want to start at the end, then you wanted to go to like index, the length -1, because that'll be the last element of the array. But let's say I don't know exactly how to do it. I'm hazy on my for loops, so let's say I want to look up. I still want to keep in Java, and I'm gonna want to look up reverse order of an array, right? Or this is slightly different. This would actually tell you how to reverse the array. So what we want to do is go through array backwards, or loop through array backwards. Looping through an array backwards. You can see Stack Overflow. That's nearly 10 years ago. That's crazy. You can see it's very similar code, except this is in a different place. You can see, oh, so I'm going to want to... I'm not even sure if this code would actually work. This is why... oh, this is the question. Yeah. And this is like the answer. Wow, surprise, surprise, question answer. Who could have seen that one coming? for int counter my array dot length -1, counter is greater than or equal to 0, counter plus plus. So this one we kind of can just copy in, but let's think about it for ourselves. So first we're going to want to create an indexing variable, and we're going to want to set that to the index of the last element, which we know is going to be numbers.length -1. And the reason it's -1 is because numbers.length, it would give us like 4. It would say there are 4 elements in this array, which is correct. But remember, there's 0 index, meaning we don't start counting from 1, we start counting from 0. So it would go 0, 1, 2, 3. So that's why we do numbers.length -1. Anyways, now that we have the last one, we're going to want to make sure that doesn't go to like a negative number, so that it's greater than or equal to 0, because that's the first element in our array, right? And then, instead of in a normal for loop where you might see an increment operator, like I++, we're going to do I minus because we're going backwards, right? We're decreasing the index by 1. And then for now, let's just say system.out.println numbers index I. Great. I'm actually going to comment this code out for now. Helpful keybind if you just want to comment out some code. A lot of text editors will have it so that if you press Control/, it toggles between commented and not commented. Pretty, just a helpful keybind. Because let's say I don't need the scanner anymore. And see, prints out our array in reverse order, 50, 20, 10, 9. Great. So, kind of just to get like an overview of the different resources, W3 School and like Java to Point are going to have a lot of things that are like, oh, here's this scanner class, how to get input, like very kind of common things, like a lot of like classes. Let's say I want to look up like Java arrays. This is going to have the docs, of course, the docs.oracle.com. It's like the actual Java docs. It's very formal. This can sometimes be hard to decipher, which is why W3 resources like W3 Schools exist. And see, W3 Schools and stuff like that. Tutorials Point, another good one. Geeks for Geeks sometimes has a little bit, a lot of text and less code generally, but it's another good resource. Apologies. But if we're looking up something more specific, like our previous example, reversing, looping through array backwards, or even just looping through an array forwards, we're probably not going to get as much of those websites that tell us, like, oh, this is the classes, all the methods, because this is a specific application. So you're going to get more things like Stack Overflow or CodeGrepper.com, stuff like that, right? Coding that. You see, even this one, Geeks for Geeks, even has this. Different resources, slightly different. You'll eventually learn, oh, I like W3 Schools more than I like Java as Point, or more than I like Coding Bet, whatever. But you gotta learn that for yourself. So, look up what you want to look up. Type Java. Say I wanted to look up Java. Fun facts. 7 facts about Java you probably did not know. This is really a programming topic, but it's called Oak at the beginning. It was just an accident. You're paid to learn Java. I don't know what this website is. The Duke. Well, let's just say you did that. Just look up Java, and then whatever you want to know about that programming language, or let's say I want to know something about Python. Random. You can see that's in my search history because I have random numbers. Python docs are a little bit more digestible than like Java docs. But then again, you also have W3 schools for a lot of different languages. You can see all the different languages up here. HTML, CSS, blah, blah, blah. And that's basically it for this lesson. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something. And just remember, let's go!